despair, hopelessness, being in a different... Many times we use these words. Sometimes we are not aware. Sometimes we are aware why we use them. Have you ever thought of the reason why you use them? Have you ever thought of the reason why somebody else uses them? When you hear it from somebody, what do they really mean? These are words that we may and most likely would hear from someone who is feeling depressed. Depression is a state of low mood or aversion of activity that can affect one's thought, behavior, feeling, and even the sense of well-being. The word state in that definition of depression means temporary. It doesn't mean we have to stay there. Depression is a state. It is not a lifestyle. It is not a situation that will consume us. It is not supposed to consume us. We can also explain or describe or define depression as a common medical illness that negatively affects how we feel, the way we think, and the way we act. People with depressed mood may present certain behavioral patterns. They may be sad, anxious, they feel rejected, they feel worthless, they feel hopeless, helpless, dejected. There's this sense of emptiness or guilt. There is this loss of interest in activities that they once considered to be most pleasurable. There's loss of appetite. Sometimes there could be overeating. We tend to confuse the two. When we talk about appetite in a depressed person, we are most familiar with loss of appetite. There are a lot of people, though they are not in the majority, that overeat when they are depressed. There is difficulty in focusing, paying attention to details, trouble sleeping, loss of energy. One of the hallmark or final sign of depression, or something we find in a depressed person, is the thought of death or suicide. We often wonder what causes depression, what makes a person depressed. There is nobody that is immune to depression. Every one of us, for as long as we have breath, from the day we were born, we may have faced depression at one point in time. Things that could cause depression include neglect, abuse, which could be mental, sexual, or physical, job loss, divorce, unemployment, work stress, a medical diagnosis, bullying, loss of a loved one, social isolation, unequal parental or sibling treatment, rape, menopause. A lot of people that have faced depression or that have been in a depressed mood or depressed situation or that are depressed, when they speak to people, some of the questions they ask are, is there God? Can I be helped? I am helpless. I am hopeless. I am finished. No one can help me. No one will help me. No one wants to hear me. Everybody has abandoned me. Nobody cares. They ask questions like, is there God? Can God help me? Are Christians depressed? Do godly people feel depressed? But I want to tell you, everybody feels depressed. People like David, Elijah, Job, Rachel, Hannah, Paul, Jeremiah, even Jesus Christ, at a point in their lives, were depressed. David, in Isaiah 30 verse 3 and 6, Psalms 38 verse 6 and 8. Elijah, if you read the book of 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 4 and 5. Jesus Christ, the book of Matthew chapter 14 verse 13. Luke chapter 22, 41 to 44. The entire book of Job tells about the travail of a man who was tested. At a point, he was asked by his wife to curse God because he couldn't bear it. She couldn't stand to see her husband suffer. Hannah, the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1 verse 7 to 10. Paul, if you read 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 8 to 10. Jeremiah, the entire book of Lamentation is about his travail. but specifically the chapter number 3. If you read chapter 3 of the book of Lamentation, from verse 1 to verse 20, you will see the travails of a man who is also a prophet. He described himself in that book as, I am the man who suffers, the man who everything has turned around for, the man who is in a dark place, the man who is in a different place. But somewhere along the line, in verse 21, he recollected, he saw a need and as a reason to turn around because he knew that he wasn't supposed to be in that state. I encourage you to read the book of Lamentations chapter 3. It will help you to understand that when you are in a state of depression, you cannot stay there. Some time ago in a meeting that we had with a full gospel businessman, Brother Trevor Joseph, brought up a topic that inspired this video. I want to say big up to Brother Trevor Joseph for bringing up this topic and allowing us to deliberate and discuss upon it, because it opened my eyes and it also opened the eyes of everyone present in that meeting to understand how well we ought to treat with depressed people. There are people that we meet every day. They look good, they dress good, they talk good, but they are at the point where they feel all hope is lost. What do? Sometimes these people speak to us and they give us a reason why we must talk them out of that situation, why we must encourage them, why we must speak something into their life to help them get through that moment. Sometimes we do, many times we don't. We joke about it, we play around it, and these people at the end of the day, they lose their life because of our slackness, because of our carelessness. What do you do when someone comes to you complaining to you or talking to you about their thoughts, their feelings, their mood? What do you do? Do you laugh? Do you listen? Do you joke about what they say? Do you play with it? Or do you provide solution? We meet people every day. Sometimes some of them tell us stories that may want to help us understand their situations. Some of them are trying to tell us what they are going through so we could help dissuade them from the action that they are about to take. Some people tell us their stories because they know or they feel we could help. They see us as a light, as a beacon of hope. How do we take these things that they tell us? It is important that when somebody comes to you, when you see somebody sitting by themselves, talking to themselves, being uninterested in things that they normally would be interested in, focus on them, pay attention, go to them, try to find out what they are going through, try to talk with them, try to encourage them, try to share in their pain, and try to let them know that there is a solution to whatever problem they're going through. By this, you would have saved a life today. This is just a part of a series that we'll be dealing with on the topic depression. In the next segment, we'll be elaborating on solutions, how to deal with the issue of depression. I want you guys to stay tuned. Don't blink an eye. This is Hanging Out with Dr. Honor. Speak to somebody today, smile, share, and please watch